it's what the man it's what the man says and then does, so it's not just what he says, it's what he says and then does. And this is the real like indicator for me of someone you can trust, like a trustworthy person. It's like a man who can speak and then follow through. And so all the talk about like, being in Germany, arranging things in his life, it didn't really mean anything. And come to find out, like, it didn't mean anything. It was just like all talk. It was like, sure, there was talk of, me joining him and having, me joining him with our daughter, but nothing materialized, and it didn't feel that way. There wasn't any escalation in words or like, in actions or anything like, oh, I'll start sending you money for a ticket or something of the sort. Like nothing of that. It was just like, oh, maybe you could come here. Oh, maybe you could go there. Oh, maybe you could just yeah. And I was used to like actions, and so I just quickly realized, okay, I need to be my own heroine. I need to like get up and make my life myself, make my own way. And that's what I did. I just began making my own way, and I stopped listening to just the statements, the things being said. And I just, slowly like, bifurcated, if you may, just slowly went my own way. We just slowly like, took off in very different directions, and I stopped reaching out, and he stopped reaching out. And okay, well, I did reach out about things concerning our daughter. So I would like, say for example, when I saw the hematoma on her face, I reached out to him and said, oh my God, there's something wrong. I'm going to check it out with the doctor. He didn't respond to this. This is the last time I spoke to him. But it's just back to the whole issue at hand about like labeling and, being taken for granted or underappreciated. And then like also on the other side, being appreciated. A lot of that had in my own life had to do with when other people began appreciating me. So when this person saw that the guy Duncan, the hypothetical Duncan, not the hypothetical Duncan, his I'm pseudonymizing his name, but when he saw that Duncan like took an interest in me and took me out, and and he was saying to me, oh, this is just for the here and now, and this is just for like LA, and this other guy who looked a lot better than him and who had a lot more money was like treating me treating me so decently. And not just like when I say as a human, I mean treating me with respect and as if I was his equal, treating me, like giving and receiving. There's a reciprocity, and so in behavior, in speech, in everything, it was just like mutual. Like there was this mutual reciprocity, and it felt really good. And I remember after we came back from the bike ride, just feeling like, wow, what am I doing in this place? Like just being reminded of my value, and just it kind of like shifting things around for me. And then of course I go back and, there he is, just kind of like dressed poorly, like, just, I mean, it's one thing to not have money. Like I certainly didn't. But I always, like in Jamaica we say titivated. I like made sure I was not looking a hot mess. Like when I was pregnant, I had no excuse. I mean, I had excuses, mind you, but when I wasn't pregnant, I had no excuse, and I didn't look, like my situation. I always tried to make sure that I always looked presentable. If not, like you can't afford to look good, and looking good, a lot of it is like money. But I made sure that I presented myself in a acceptable way, and this other person just didn't. Like he didn't wash his clothes. Like some things that some things you could help, but he didn't wash his clothing. He was prioritizing things that were more like fun based versus, things that were responsible. And so I just lost the desire to be in something together, because it's one thing to like work at something together, but it's another thing if one of the people are just not participants. You can't make someone do something with you. And so yeah, it was just like realizing my value, being reacquainted with my value, being reminded of my value by someone who came into my life like an angel, like I said, who just came in and then was gone, but who, when he spoke to me was very encouraging, who said very encouraging things, who told me to continue to keep going, who calmed me down. You know, like it was just so nice to speak to someone who just like, you know, just stabilizes you when you're going through a period of anxiety, of high anxiety and stress. And you know, my living situation was quite precarious. And this person just came in and just said, just keep doing what you're doing. You're well on your way. And just like, you know, and then poof, he was gone. And so I refer to him as an angel because it just seems so mysterious. And I don't know. I guess I wanna tell myself, I wanna encourage myself with the idea that, you know, God is looking out for me, or someone, you know, bigger than me is looking out for me. Um yeah, but it was just really very interesting to see how, when, you know, I met this person, how not only did they stabilize me, but then they kind of like rearranged the way in which I was being seen, the way in which I was being, you know, evaluated. And this person never, you know, my daughter's dad never came out and said, um I want to define our relationship even after that. Like, you know, like when he saw me talking to Duncan, he was just like hovering. It was very uncomfortable. He came in and he saw us talking, and then he just like, he didn't introduce himself and say, "Hey, you know, I'm so and so," and "Hey, hon, what's going on?" Like he didn't do any of that. He just like hovered. He just like stayed in the background and kind of came out and kind of stayed back. And I was just thinking, what is that? And my best friend, he actually called it, he said it's called dick blocking. It's called, he said, no, he said it's called cock blocking. So it's when just like a guy sees a guy moving in on his, I don't know, his territory or whatever, and tries to like, you know, stop the guy from making a play, right? But I was thinking to myself, how crazy is that? Like this person didn't, you know, didn't establish anything between me, tried to like, you know, use some psychological tactics to like keep me, you know, like oppressed, or like, not oppressed, just like feeling as if, you know, I was inferior to him. And another person comes in, you're going to be like hovering and trying to like, you know, tell the other person like, yeah, this is my turf, without even saying anything. It was so bizarre and uncomfortable and awkward and weird. And yeah. And so when he did all that weirdness, and then he